Welcome to my YouTube channel Blank. I'm Iron, and today I will be showing you the fifth of a series, the fifth day of Digitober. This will be the fifth video to a 31 video series, each for every day of October that I'll be posting soon. And yes, digital Inktober. I know it's weird, but for me it kinda isn't anymore. It's just a little challenge I thought of, using only white and black to do digital drawings. So now without further ado, let's get into it. The fifth word from an old Inktober list I got on the internet is monarch. So now while you enjoy a quick speed paint, I'll be telling you a horror story based on the word monarch. And if you've made it this far to the fifth video, you're in for a little surprise. Right now you'll notice that this video is longer and longer than most of the rest. And that's because this one is a bit special. First off, it's one of my favorite drawings that I've made. And second off, this is not gonna be a horror story. It's gonna be something else. When I searched monarch, I didn't find many horror stories. I only found many historical background stories of kings and queens that were kind of messed up. I mean, who wasn't, to be honest? But after all the searching and looking and prying for information and something much more better than just a history lesson, I found a game called The Three Kings. It's a game. There are many games. Many games. There are video games. Well, okay, let me start over. This game is called The Three Kings. And it's one of those games that you play like the Ouija board. Please never play it, by the way. Like, even if you don't believe in it, then why would you want to try anyways, right? So, here we go. I'm in this page called The Ghost in My Machine. Stories of the strange and unusual. Here, they provide you a guide on how to play the game, rules, and everything. They provide you with safety tips and everything. It's a really dangerous game, they say. So here, it will be a long video, so sit back and relax. Grab a little blanket or something to keep warm too, if you're hearing this at night, which is the best way to enjoy it. So let's begin. The most dangerous games. The Three Kings. There exists in the world a number of games which you really shouldn't play. You probably already know one of the most famous ones, Bloody Mary. But here, in the most dangerous games, I'll be chronicling some of the lesser known ones. But seriously, don't play them, ever. If you must play them, do not half-arse them. You never know what you might bring back with you if you screw up. The Three Kings comes to us from Fable Forge, a Redditor with an interesting past. At his behest, please don't actually try this. Players, one principal, one partner. Note, you and your partner should both be mentally, emotionally, and spiritually stable. Do not attempt if either of you are having serious issues in your life. Do not attempt if either of you have consumed drugs or alcohol within the last 3 to 5 days. Requirements: one large, quiet, empty room, windowless preferred. If windows are present, cover as completely as possible with curtains, sheets, etc. Ideal location: basement. One pack of candles, one lighter, one bucket of water, one mug, one electric fan, 2 large mirrors, 3 chairs, 1 alarm clock, 1 fully charged cell phone, 1 small object of sentimental value. Instructions. The prelude. Begin at 11 p.m. Do not begin if your partner is not present and or has not been briefed on his or her role. Your partner should remain in your home for the entire duration of the game. Place one chair facing north in the center of your designated room and your designated dark room. This chair will be your throne. Place the other two chairs on either side of your throne, facing it, an arm's length away. These will be your queen's chair and your fool's chair. Place one of your two mirrors on the queen's chair and the other on the fool's. The mirrors should be perpendicular to each other and you. You should be able to see your own reflection in each mirror from your peripheral vision while seated in your throne. You should not have to turn your head or move your eyes to do so. Place the bucket of water and the mug in front of you, just out of reach. Place the fan behind your throne. Set it to medium or low, never high, and turn it on. Make sure it is stationary, not oscillating. 6. Leave the room, but keep the door open. 7. Go to your bedroom. Set the candles, lighter, alarm clock, and cell phone next to your bed. Make sure your phone is charging and set your alarm clock for 3:30 a.m. 8. Turn the lights off. Hold your object of sentimental value, your quote-unquote power object. Climb into bed and sleep. The main event. 1. Wake up at 3:30 a.m. when your alarm clock goes off. Turn off the alarm, but do not turn on the light. Keep a hold of your power object. Pick up your cell phone, light one candle, and return to the dark room. You must be seated in your throne by 3:33 a.m. 2. Do not proceed if any of the following occur. Your cell phone did not charge. Your alarm did not go off precisely at 3:30 a.m. You approach the dark room and find the door closed. You approach the dark room and find the fan turned off. You are not seated in your throne by 3:33 a.m. Should any of these incidents ensue, take your partner and any other occupant and leave your home. Do not return until after 6 a.m. 3. If you do not encounter any red flags, proceed. Take your throne, but do not look directly at either of the mirrors, and do not let the candle go out. Use your body to protect the candle from the fan. 4. Keep your eyes focused at the darkness in front of you. Again, do not look at the mirrors and do not look at the candle. Should you have any questions you wish to ask, you may ask them now. You may or may not receive a response. If you do, your response will come from the direction of one of the mirrors. Do not turn to look at the mirrors. Any answers received should be taken with a proverbial grain of salt. One of the mirrors is the queen, and one is the fool, but it may not be clear which is which. Also note that whatever may settle in the mirrors, you yourself are either the queen or the fool. 5. Remain in your throne until 4:34 a.m. The ending. At 4:34 a.m., your partner should call out your name to end the game. 2. Should this fail, your partner should call your cell phone. 3. Should this fail, your partner should enter the room and, without touching you, use the bucket of water and mug. Concerning fail-safes. If your body is suddenly moved, the fan will blow out the candle, ending the game. Should you become lost or disoriented, your power object will guide your way back. Do not ignore any of the previously noted red flags prior to seating yourself in the throne. Do not attempt to stay in your throne should these red flags appear. Do not attempt if you do not completely and totally trust your partner. Good luck. Now that you know the rules for the Three Kings ritual, Here are some experiences that I'll read to you. I'll leave the link in the description if you want to check it out better. Personal experiences with the Three Kings ritual. Hundreds, if not thousands, of people have attempted the Three Kings ritual since it was posted, and most have some kind of experience that falls squarely into the terrifying category. Many people report spending their hour and 34 minutes in what they feel is the presence of two, usually evil spirits. Quite often, people will report actually watching spirits manifest in the mirrors in their peripheral vision. In many cases, there will be some kind of auditory communication with the kings, and more often than not, the experience leaves the ritualist pretty shaken up. After a few minutes of nothing happening, I hear something from the darkness towards the door. It's faint singing in a language I can't understand, and the blackness turns into a mass of shadows that look like people. They're all marching from the right to the left, like they're on parade, and as they pass, I can't help but feel elated. After a couple of minutes of this going on, I noticed a second noise. From the chair to my right was the sound of someone writing something down. It was a scratchy sound too, like someone using one of those old quill pens. God, I love those things. That's what it says in parentheses. That's not my personal opinion, though I too love those things. I wanted to ask what it was writing down, but I was too afraid of the answer to go through with it, especially when the room was full of moving shadows, even if they did look like they were rejoicing. The scribbling on my right ceased, and then a voice from the chair on my left spoke up. It said my name, and then started listing off every good deed I'd done in my life. Big, small, valiant, accidental, all of them. Even ones I'd done when I was a little boy and forgotten about. And as the voice listed these things off, the writing on my right resumed. When my girlfriend called for me, both voices said goodbye. The shadows and music faded away, and I heard the chair scrape against the wood floor. So here's another experience. Some people have even gone into full trances while performing the Three Kings, to the point where the ritual could only be ended when their backup person used the first failsafe. Out of the corner of my eye, the mirror to my right looked like there were water droplets falling down it, like the windshield of a car during a downpour. I felt a tear fall down my cheek. I'm not sure if it was because I was terrified, or because of the sheer sadness that filled the room. From the corner of my eye, I noticed that the mirror on my left looked lighter somehow. The only way I know how to explain it is when you turn the brightness up too high on your computer screen. Terrified, I made sure to keep looking forward at the wall. The next thing I remember is getting splashed with an entire bucket of cold water. My safety person had called my name without a response, then called my cell phone several times with no answer, then eventually came into the room and brought me back to reality with a bucket of water. According to them, I was sitting straight ahead with a candle clutched in my left hand and my right hand in front of me at face level, like I was holding it against someone else's. Another experience. In some cases, people have undeniably profound experiences that have the ability to change them as people. Suddenly, the candle I had started flickering. I'm not talking about a little bit either. I was legitimately getting scared it was going to go out. It looked like it was dancing around and was casting strange shadows all around me. Immediately after that, I felt two distinct mental presences crash into me. From the left side, I felt an overwhelming sense of anger, depression, hate, in what generally felt like evil incarnate. From the right side came these feelings of happiness, joy, and kindness, and was the complete opposite of the opposing force. It felt like I was no longer one person, but was instead three entities fighting it out inside my body. I remember feeling squished inside my own body, and I was starting to shake. It was like nothing I'd ever felt before. I, at one point, was sure I was going to be pushed out of my own body, and could feel what can only be described as ego death. And here's the next section. Is Three Kings just a game, or a genuine magic ritual? Sure, there are a lot of ways we can explain away the experiences people have during the Three Kings ritual. Maybe they're tired, already precognition to be scared, and probably expecting something strange to happen. But what if what the experiences reported by these countless experiments are real? Just because it originated as a piece of internet creepypasta doesn't negate the fact that thousands of people have put quite a bit of focus and energy into performing what is, when it boils down to it, a very detailed ritual. I personally have never performed the Three Kings ritual, mostly because I'm a big scaredy cat. But that hasn't stopped me from being fascinated with both the real and fictional reports that have popped up all over the internet since 2013. Wow, this one's an old ritual. Well, whatever, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years old. Whether you believe it's a real magic ritual intended to make contact with the spirit realm or just Bloody Mary for the I generation, you can't deny that there isn't part of you that kind of wants to try it now, right? Honestly, part of me wants to try it out, but I'm too fucking lazy to wake up at 3:30 in the fucking AM. Alright, so no, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen at all. So, would you try it out? That's the real question there. If you guys do try it out, which please don't try it out. I don't want to be responsible for like a mass murder. Even though like only 2 people watch me f it, but still. and yeah. So, since the Three Kings ritual didn't actually last as long as I thought it would, with me explaining it, then I thought I could give you another one. This one was ranked higher and more dangerous than the Three Kings ritual. It's called the Midnight Game. I got it from a webpage called Freaked. I will link you guys. I will leave the link in the description if you guys want to check it out. So without further ado, let's read into this. Origin of Paranormal Games. The origin of haunting paranormal games is believed to be ancient satanic rituals, but have been modified after being performed for hundreds of years and took a lesser grim version of the original revolt. Rituals were used to summon the devil, ferocious demons, and deadly spirits to spread terror among the humans, as well as to worship Satan. Although the rituals were carried out with the uppermost secrecy, due to the sacrifices required to summon demonic beings. As years went by, some of the rituals would be revealed to some of the public. And as a result of human curiosity, the rituals were adapted by certain people as years went by, until the 19th century, when they took the form of haunting paranormal games, which children would play for fun as well as thrill. But the evils that such games have the potential of unveiling is still of the same magnitude. 1. The Midnight Game. Warning: play this game at your own risk. Do not turn on any lights during the midnight game. Do not use a flashlight during the midnight game. Do not go to sleep during the midnight game. Do not use another person's blood or your name. Okay, so this one seems kind of really bad. Do not use a lighter to substitute for a candle. It will not work. Definitely do not attempt to provoke the Midnight Man in any way. That is all. Have fun. So those are the warnings. So here are a part of the rules for the Midnight Game that can be found online. The Midnight Game is the most haunting, most terrifying game out there that a person can play with their friends. Many believe this game to be an old pagan ritual that was used as a punishment to those who disobeyed the religion. Posted above is the beginning of the rules, but the others can simply be found online for those who are daring to play this game. The whole point of this game is to summon the Midnight Man at exactly midnight and surviving until 3:33 AM. If you survive the game and the time strikes 3:33 AM, congratulations, you won the game. You have to walk around your house after following the very simple rules that are clearly outlined online and make sure you avoid him at all costs. People claim that while playing this game, they have experienced hallucinations and are left with mental scars. People also say that if the Midnight Man catches you, then he will either send you into a nightmare dimension or will rip your internal organs out. Be careful if you play this game. You may never know who is lurking around the corners of your home, waiting to attack. So, since now you know the gist of it, here are the instructions. I'm just saying them because I like to read these kinds of things, but please don't try it out. It's just stupid. Like, why would you want this? Unless you like the thrill. But I mean, there are funner, lighter things to do outside, and getting the same thrill by them than doing this. Anyways, here are the instructions. Players, at least one principle. Requirements: 1 candle, 1 lighter or book of matches, 1 piece of paper, 1 writing implement, 1 pen, 1 wooden door closed, and salt. Instructions. The invitation. 1. Begin prior to midnight. 2. Write your full name, first, middle, and last, on the piece of paper with your writing implement. Prick your finger with a pin and squeeze until a drop of blood appears. Dot the blood on the paper and allow it to soak in. 3. Turn off every light in your house. 4. Place the paper with your name and blood on it in front of the closed wooden door. Light the candle using the matches or lighter and place it on top of the paper. If you are using a taper, make sure it is placed in a candle holder. 5. Knock on the door 22 times. The final knock must occur precisely when the clock chimes 12 AM. Open the door, then blow out the candle and close the door. 6. Relight your candle immediately. The main event. 1. Keeping your candle in hand and your salt and matches or lighter close by. Begin to move about your home. 2. Should your candle go out, you must relight it within the next 10 seconds. If you are successful, continue moving about your home. Do not stop moving until 3:33 AM. 3. If you are unsuccessful in relighting the candle, immediately surround yourself with a circle of salt. Remain inside the circle until 3:33 AM. The ending. 1. At 3:33 AM, it is safe to stop moving or to step outside your circle of salt. You may also turn on the lights. The game is over. Additional notes. The Midnight Game may be played with more than 1 player. In this instance, all players are principals, and as such, each player must perform the invitation individually. The invitation welcomes an entity, known as the Midnight Man, inside your home. The goal of the game is to avoid meeting the Midnight Man in the dark. Continually moving about your home will make it more difficult for him to find you. Should you stop moving at any point, he will catch you. Accounts differ as to what befalls players caught by the Midnight Man. Some claim he will induce an hallucination of your worst fear until the end of the game. Others claim he will remove your organs one by one. Both outcomes are to be avoided at all cost. Indications that the Midnight Man is near include, but are not limited to, the following. Sudden drops in temperature. The sound of a soft whisper with no discernible source. The appearance of a humanoid figure within the darkness. The candle going out. Should you experience any of the first three occurrences, leave the area immediately. Should you experience the fourth occurrence, following the previously given instructions, relighting the candle within the next 10 seconds will keep the Midnight Man temporarily at bay. Should you fail to perform this action correctly, the circle of salt will do the same. Do not fail to do either. There are no known methods to abort the game. At 3:33 a.m., the Midnight Man will leave your home. After he has left, you may safely end the game. Do not turn on any lights during the game. Do not use a flashlight during the game. Do not go to sleep during the game. Do not use a lighter instead of a candle during the game. Do not use a person's blood other than yours during the game. Do not attempt to leave your home during the game. Do not attempt to provoke the Midnight Man during the game. And most importantly, do not assume that the Midnight Man has left your home for good at the conclusion of the game. Okay, and here are some frequently asked questions about this game, just if you were curious about it. So one question is, what will happen if I burn the paper that has my blood and name on it? The answer is, this one first popped up in the search terms from the Black Lagoon Post, but now it seems like a good time to revisit it. As far as I know, burning the paper used to summon the Midnight Man isn't a step that's included in any of the versions of the rules out there. As such, I can only answer this one based on speculation. If you burn the paper after the conclusion of the game, it's possible that it might function as a purification ritual, kind of like the way you'd burn the paper cup at the end of performing the shoebox telephone ritual, or burn the doll after finishing one-man hide-and-seek. Again, don't take this as gospel. I'm definitely extrapolating here from what I know about how fire functions in other rituals, but burning the paper and scattering the ashes afterwards might help keep the Midnight Man at bay. Remember, just because you successfully finished the game without getting caught doesn't mean the Midnight Man is gone for good. However, if you burn the paper while actively playing the Midnight game, well, let's just say that I'd avoid putting yourself in this position at all, if I were you. I get the feeling it might just piss the Midnight Man off. You don't want that, trust me. Another question is, will a lighter used to light the candle anger the Midnight Man? Nope, you should be fine, is the answer. The next question is, can you create several salt circles before the game and run to the closest one as needed? The answer is, I wouldn't. The idea of creating a salt circle around yourself is to build a protective wall. In this case, the wall is meant to stand between you and the Midnight Man. Laying out a bunch of salt circles in advance and trying to run into them would functionally be the same as building a bunch of actual walls and running headlong into them. Either you'd do a lot of damage to yourself, or you'll just knock the walls down. In either case, the protective power of the pre-drawn circles would be useless. Either you'll be stuck outside of them with the Midnight Man snapping at your heels, or you'll be blasted holes through them, or you'll have blasted holes through them, thereby allowing the Midnight Man to follow you right inside. You can apparently cut a door through any salt circle using something called a thing, but if you're trying to save yourself from the Midnight Man, I don't think you'll have time to cut the door, get through it, and close it before he gets you. What about an uninvolved observer? Will it work if someone follows you around who's in the house but not playing the game? The answer is there are no uninvolved observers. If you're in the house, you're in the game, whether you like it or not. Well, Jesus Christ, if I ever have a roommate, I'm gonna kill him if he does this shit. A question. What if there are people sleeping in the house who aren't playing the game? The answer. Oh, good gravy. Don't do that to them. You'll put them all in terrible danger. The question. If I fill hula hoops with salt beforehand, could I throw one over my head and be considered safe? The answer. Oh, good question. Theoretically, I suppose it might work, although you'd have to make sure the hula hoop was packed completely full. If there's a break at it all, and you are in the line of salt within the hoop, that leaves the Midnight Man an opening to come in. Question. What does the Midnight Man look like? Answer. I don't know that anyone who's seen him has blah 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 blah. I don't know that anyone who's seen him has been in any condition to say. Question. I have a wooden front door, but there's a window taking up half of it. Does that still count, or must it be entirely wooden? Answer. You know, I'm not actually sure. I suspect that probably an all-wood door is preferable, but you can always give it a shot and see if it works. Picky as fuck ghost. Okay. I'm joking. Question. What if someone walks through the wooden door I choose while I'm playing the game? Imagine someone walking into your house like at 1 in the morning, and you're like, holy shit, now you're dead. Answer. Probably nothing good. Although I can't say for sure. If you know of someone who likes to spring surprise visits on you, I would tell them ahead of time whatever you need to in order to ensure they don't do that on the night you're planning to play. Whether that's telling them you're out of town or just telling them that that's not a good night for company. Question. Do we have to prick our finger, or can we just cut a random part off of our skin to draw blood? What the? Why wouldn't pricking your finger is like the easiest accessible part? Why wouldn't you do that? Where the f do you want to like cut your wrist? Jesus Christ. Okay, that got really dark. The answer. As far as I know, there's no reason the blood can't come from somewhere other than your finger. So ladies out there, you know what to do. But I wouldn't recommend just slicing yourself open. Exactly. I don't practice weekly, but it's my understanding that blood magic should never use more than a drop or two. Pricking a finger is ideal for this reason. Giving yourself a jab with a sterilized needle will only give you a couple of drops. A couple of drops. So there's no danger of accidentally spilling more than you need. Using a ton of it won't result in anything good. Question. If you stay in the salt circle until 3:33 a.m., you won't win, but he won't either. Is it a draw? Oh my god. Imagine like it's a draw and every single night you have to play it until you win. Oh my god. That would be something cool for Insomniacs, I think, or some shit. Okay, so the answer is something like that. Yes. So the next question. What if you sleep inside the salt circle mid-game? The answer. I wouldn't. To be fair, it's an interesting question. Staying inside the salt circle should keep you relatively safe, However, it's also stated in the instructions that going to sleep in the middle of the game is to be avoided. What happens when those two rules come together? It's possible that sleeping inside the salt circle will protect you while you snooze. However, you also run the risk of being caught off your guard. What if you roll over in your sleep and disturb the circle? Or worse, what if the Midnight Man tampers with it while you're not paying attention? Isn't the salt circle supposed to protect you? Like, he can tamper with it? Why? How? Oh, okay. The last question. What if I live in an apartment complex? Oh my god, everyone plays the game. Will the game continue past the part of the building that I live in? I don't want to endanger the rest of the building. Dude, that's how you commit a giant. Okay, you know what? I won't say it. Okay, so the answer is good question. Although, unfortunately, I'm not sure I can answer it with any sort of certainty. It's possible that the borders of the playing space, so to speak, would be determined by the walls of your apartment. If you only call your specific unit home, then that might be what matters here. However, it's equally possible that the Midnight Man might consider the entire building of fair game as a playing space. The rules don't specify that the game must be played in your home. After all it requires is a building. Okay. If you're worried about the other residents of your building, then either on the side of caution. Oh god. Then I'd err on the side of caution and avoid playing this one in your apartment. So that's it. There's more questions and more answers, but Jesus, there's a bunch of them. And it's really late. And my spooky music track is ending. So I'm just really tired at this point. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's really creepy, and well, it's the month for that. Okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope this makes you want to subscribe, comment something, like this video, or you just click the notification bell so that you can be notified of when my next video is out. Remember that this is not the last video of this series. It's just barely beginning. Good night.